Hello, welcome to Rapid Fire Marketing on LinkedIn Live. I'm Moreno, your host. With us here today is Deborah Reynolds, also known as the Now to Wow Diva. Deborah is the founder and president of About Face Image Consulting. Debbie, once again, it is most exciting to have you here with us.
I'm so happy to be here, Marino. Thank you for the invitation.
I like your motto to get us going, which goes like this: it's time to change, renew, empower, and transform. A reminder to our viewers to use the chat to text us comments and questions. Debbie, your topic of interest today is how to reach your prosperity potential. Let's get right into the program with 5 thought-provoking questions for you.
Absolutely. What's the first one, Marino?
First question. What do business owners and entrepreneurs need to focus on to be successful and reach their prosperity potential?
That's a great question. So the first thing that we need to do is really define what prosperity means to us as individuals. And that element encompasses a number of things. So number of things that people start with initially is the abundance factor, prosperity meaning money, cash flow, the ability to do the things that they want, the life freedom that they want. But it also includes a lot of other things in terms of peace of mind and happiness and joy, an ability to overcome overwhelm, an ability to reduce or eliminate stress in our lives, really have that sense of contentment in our lives, and knowing that we could just sustain the life that we have and then do the things that we want to be able to do beyond that. So prosperity means a number of different things. So we need to define that for ourselves, what that means for ourselves as individuals, as entrepreneurs, what it means for the business and the company too, because it'll mean different things for the organization or company that we belong to and that we're associated with or that we're running or owning. And then we need to define the desire to reach the prosperity potential. So when I say prosperity potential, we know that individuals have a potential inside of them. They have the ability to do it. So if they have the desire, they have the will to be able to move forward, and they put the right strategies and tactics into place, that potential now becomes more of a reality. They can see it, believe it, taste it, feel it, and it's within a specific time frame that they can achieve the desired goal that they want to get the results that they want. So the desire has to be there inside of them. And really, it's got to be one that's driven by passion as well, because you can have a desire to do something going, I really want it, but the whole heart, the whole soul, the passion of the person is not there. And really, if we want to attain great success in life, the more excited that you are, the more joyful about the process, not just the end result, makes all the difference. So beyond the desire, we then now have a clear plan. And that clear plan has to be defined out in terms of what are we looking at in terms of a deadline? What does the end really look like in terms of the ultimate results? How will we know that we're successful? What are those milestone markers that we're achieving as we're moving towards that end result or desired goal of prosperity? What does that actually mean for us? And how do we know that we're attaining that? So the deadlines, the processes, different strategies and tactics, knowing the order and the priority of what things have to be done, when things have to be executed, and then who's going to support us in the process. Because, oh my goodness, we could do it all ourselves, but that's where people get stuck in overwhelm. They lose focus. They aren't very disciplined. They get completely scattered in what they're doing. And to really reduce the overwhelm and to reduce the stress level and to make it more feasible to reach the prosperity level, the prosperity potential, you need to delegate. You need to have team. You need to have the right support in front of you. You need the right mentors, the coaches, the guides to support you in the process. And then beyond that, we need the discipline to actually execute on the plan. And that self-discipline part of it is sort of the struggle between the saboteurs that we have in our brain and the positive mindset, or the sage or the wise part of the brain, where we can access the mindset that opens up the prefrontal cortex for creativity and productivity. So the self-discipline has to be there. So it is mental discipline. It's also physical discipline as well. And it is emotional discipline. Because if you're interacting with people, which is what we do all day long, we interact with colleagues, friends, we are interacting with vendors and suppliers, other people in business. If we are not managing our emotions and what comes out of our mouth and how we interact with people in a very positive way, in a very uplifting way, that can sabotage our efforts to reach our prosperity potential. Then we're looking at of course, we've talked about the discipline, but we're also leveraging the team, and we want to leverage team for delegation purposes, which is systems and technology. I mean, this is now a world that has shifted into leveraging a variety of different types of technologies to support us. And that's where a lot of people struggle too. So they are caught up in, how do I make all these different pieces of technology talk to each other? When in fact, that can be slowing down their ability to be prosperous when they can do things more organically. So that becomes important to kind of weigh those factors out. Then we're looking at visibility. We're looking at your ability to influence other people, which includes your leadership capabilities. And that encompasses a number of things, including your values and your character as a leader, and your ability to convince people to do things and to follow you as a leader. And then we talk about mindset, and then we talk about cash flow. Those things are all really important in terms of the success of the business and reaching our prosperity potential.
I like how you divide prosperity into money, however, also our happiness, our well-being, our tranquility. And of course, when we do anything, when we move in a direction, we need a goal, as you say, that we want to achieve. And to get there, we need a plan. And once we have a plan, we need to find a team to help us get there.
Yeah, and the plan, Moreno, is always going to change. So people think it's a very consistent plan to move forward. You have to have an ability to shift and change, because there will be factors that will come into play. So when we talk about, when you shared in the introduction there about the parameters of change, renew, empower, and transform, is that we have to shift and change frequently throughout the day. There are things that come into play that we've never anticipated, that are going to affect our decision making and how quickly or how slowly we reach a goal and move forward. So we have to navigate through that. So you have to be able to ensure the plan is flexible enough that it allows you to make those changes quickly. And of course, the mindset comes into place there. Because if you don't have the right mindset and the control and the self-discipline and the emotions, those unexpected events, circumstances, situations are going to scramble us emotionally and physically. They're going to stress us, and then we're not going to be able to think through them quickly to be able to navigate to the correct path to take to move forward.
Yes, only the goal is cast in concrete. The plan is fluid. Imagine how confused we will be if there's no plan. I have a question relating to principles. How do we use these principles to differentiate ourselves from our competition?
So this would include things such as getting noticed out in the marketplace. That's one of the differentiating factors. So you have to get noticed, you have to be seen, you actually have to get known for being the solution to the problem. And part of the process of getting known for being the solution is having the reputation in place to be able to solve the problems and to be able to deal with any issues that come up in that process. So if you're somebody that consistently drops the ball in business and you're not following through and you're not exercising great care and attention on your clients, that could be perceived as a lack of a solid reputation. So there are a number of factors that come into play. I mean, this goes right back to the branding principles of a business, but people forget about the reputation element of differentiating yourself from the competition. They would be saying things, typical business owners say things, well, I always deliver great service. That's my reputation. It goes way beyond that. There are many factors that come into play there. So many people are saying in business, I deliver great service. I follow through. I'm the best price, or I'm the lowest price, however that might play out. But it's also moving in a direction where we are now being remembered at the time that the customer, the client, or potential client is making a decision. Because sometimes we can interact with them, we can share knowledge and information, we can educate the client, we can communicate with them, we can invite and ask them to come and work with us. But at the point of decision making, that's the key that we need to be top of mind, and we need to be remembered. And the key for a business owner is, what do you want to be remembered for? That is important to what I say. It's important to create a good first impression, but it's essential to create a great lasting impression. And that idea of being remembered for the right things and not for the wrong things in business becomes important. So we want to be seen, we want to be noticed, we want to be remembered at the time of decision making. And all of that is part of the branding process, which differentiates ourselves from the competition. And online visibility now is one of the, I would say, the least expensive ways of advertising, of communicating with people. We're no longer having to do the print. We can do the print. That's an option for us. We can do ads. That's an option for us on and offline. But now what it is we have opportunities to be visible that doesn't cost us anything, or the cost is so low that we could leverage that as business owners. It now becomes entirely possible for us to be visible globally now. So we have to be careful where our market is as well, and where we want to extend ourselves.
There are many parameters that we need to pay attention to differentiate ourselves from our competition. Absolutely.
Is there another question, Moreno?
What does it take to be visible online?
Okay, great question. Definitely a plan. I think to be online requires a plan. First of all, scheduling, knowing what your day looks like, what your week looks like. When you're planning and scheduling out your calendar as a business owner, it's knowing where is your customer and target market, where are they showing up on platforms, and being there at the time that the customer is being there. So looking at all those intricate details and the analytics of posts and interaction become important. And I find that it would be very difficult for someone to do it on their own unless they're extremely tech savvy. Leveraging a team to support you in that process becomes part of growing and developing that online visibility. So the planning process is quite extensive. Then, of course, to be visible online, you need the technology. I mean, you and I are sitting here, we're using software pieces, we're using StreamYard, we're using LinkedIn Live as technology. But behind the scenes, we also have other pieces. I have my Logitech camera, you've got your camera in place. We've got the microphones that are in place too. We have special lighting that comes into place with that. So the online technology and choosing the different platforms where we want to be visible becomes important. You don't have to use them all, but you want to be strategic about which ones you use. It requires engaging with people, no different than if you were at a live networking event in person. You would be talking and engaging and shaking hands. So in the online world, we're doing that with conversation and interaction with people as well. And inviting them, sharing information, educating them, delivering great content that is useful information for them, asking questions, extending the invitations for people to engage or to attend events that we're delivering. Those things would be really important for us to actually help us to be more visible online. But you have to have the willingness to do it, because I'm still running into many, many entrepreneurs that don't want to go live, that are afraid of the camera and the technology. They're nervous. So there needs to be an element of that comfort. We need to start with the process of making someone feel comfortable online. And so when I'm interacting or working with clients, it is, let's get your presentation, let's get the content delivered, let's engage and have a conversation, and see where you're comfortable with. I'll give you an example. I've got a summit that's coming up next week, that's starting next week. And one of the speakers on the summit did not want to talk about a particular topic. They were actually considering shifting their topic, and even shifting dramatically in their business where they wanted to put their focus and attention. So they were not energetic or excited about the topic that they were talking about. They were actually going to postpone or possibly cancel being a speaker. So what it is I had a quick conversation and I said, okay, you have these other areas of expertise. So what about this? What if we shifted and we talked about this particular topic, which you are an expert in, and that this aligns really beautifully with the summit topic? And all of a sudden I could see their facial expression changed, their energy, their emotions, their eyes lit up. And while this person seemed drained and tired initially, suddenly everything changed about their body dynamics. They got really excited about the process. And so rather than postponing, I said, let's just take a quick break, get a glass of water, and let's record it right now. And the person said, yes, let's do it right now. So it ended up being a huge success. So sometimes we actually have to be aware of where people's energy is in terms of delivering their content, their material, their area of expertise. That might be an area that we need to shift and change when somebody wants to be visible online. They might have in mind products or services or a particular topic that they want to deliver for their audience to consume. That may be the wrong thing for them, simply because their whole heart and soul is not in it. The energy is not there, and therefore the audience doesn't feel like it. So let me tell you one other quick story, which is a personal thing. I had developed this program called the Morning Kick in the Butt program. And I didn't have great success in people initially registering for the program. And it was because I did not want to get up at that time of the morning to deliver a live event. So what it is I shifted it to an afternoon live session. So afternoon, like Pacific time session, which allows them to implement and get things ready so that they can kick butt in the morning when they appear at their desk in the office and when they're on their computer. So what it is it doesn't require me to be live in the morning, but it gets them all prepared and ready so they know exactly what they're going to be doing and performing the next morning. That was more exciting to me and created more leverage and excitement for me to be able to market the product more successfully. And it was the clients that were already involved in the program thought it was a much better idea as well. So sometimes we need the feedback from the clients, but we also have to really sense what's going on with us emotionally and physically. Going, is this the right product to deliver or the right service? But is the way that I'm delivering it the correct way in terms of my own energy and my own desire to connect with the audience? We have to pay attention to all those things. So it's not just the tech and the platforms, but it's also our own mindset, our own energy, our own sort of spirit and heart that goes into the delivery of the product and the service.
Your last example shows how very important timing is and delivering the right topic to the right audience. That's why the best way to be visible is to go where our prospects are and engage them, interact with them. That is the new way of getting involved with our potential clients. As you say, having a team these days is very important because we rely so much on technology, and technology is sometimes not easy. There are things to learn to stay abreast of. Sometimes we cannot do it all. We need the help of other competent people, technical people. We all
Absolutely.
need guides. Debbie, do you have perhaps a high level strategy that you can share with us?
Yes, definitely. Number one is preparing for a video. So if you're delivering content and material, it doesn't always have to be live like this is. It could be preparing video. So what I would do is the simplest way is using your smartphone, or to be able to use pieces of technology like Zoom or GoToWebinar. But try this. Look at what you've got right now in your technology, in your assets in your office. What can you actually utilize right now without going out and spending additional money? So an inexpensive tripod using your phone right now is probably the best way, because the newer phones have got just absolutely great cameras in there for video preparation. So preparing for video and then practicing. And you're never going to be perfect right out of the gate. Any sort of keynote, any presentations, any delivery requires a little bit of practice for you to get comfortable with the technology. Preparing some content, learning to present, learning to speak, learning how you're going to engage with the camera or the audience. Connection with people is really important. So you as an individual, do you actually have an ability to connect with people? That's important. Sharing your personal story is a huge part of the process. I mean, all of us are experts in many things because we have life experience with that. We have walked through the process. We know the ins and outs of whatever it is that we're speaking about. So I think you need to weave in your personal story so that people can relate, and then using different metaphors or different analogies in that story. And then extending an offer and extending an invitation to people. I think we are really it's a huge disservice to people if we don't extend an offer and an invitation. People lose out. People are wanting and needing what it is that we have to offer. It just has to be packaged in the right way and executed. And then a high level strategy also includes like regular, consistent posting, and the visibility online needs to be regular and it needs to be consistent. So the audience knows that we're doing this. On Thursdays, we're doing this LinkedIn Live presentation on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time. So the other part is when we're posting, the frequency will vary depending on how visible you want to be. I mean, sometimes it is people do it weekly. Sometimes they do it a few times a week, once a day. But I've actually heard experts say between 14 to 70 times, 70 times per week on various platforms. So one of the best ways that we can do that is by repurposing content. So it's not always us showing up 70 times, but that we can take content and divide it up and then use that on a variety of different platforms. So that information is shared by some of my summit speakers that on my upcoming summit that I'll share in a few moments. The other part of a high level strategy is your calendar scheduling. So a lot of platforms like Facebook have their own scheduling system, but there's other ways that we can schedule as well to really leverage our time. So it's preparing content in advance, anticipating what people need, scheduling it out, using video, using the technology of Facebook Lives and LinkedIn Lives here. But the best strategy, the best high-level strategy is executed with team and having this whole support team behind you that really is tech savvy. You need a team that's tech savvy, that knows how to navigate these different platforms. It saves you a lot of time and saves you a lot of energy in the process.
Deborah, video is the most important medium, as you said. It's what people expect, it's easy to consume, and it conveys so much more information than the written word. I wrote down here that you said Zoom is one of the easiest platforms to use. Also, one's smartphone. The video quality of a smartphone is really very, very good. And one has to practice, practice, practice. There's no shortcut around that. If one wants to get better, one has to practice. It's as simple as that. And people don't expect presenters to be perfect. Nobody's looking for a Hollywood actor. People want to see people as they are, with their flaws, because that way we can relate to others. You also mentioned telling a story. Who doesn't stop to listen to a great story? Tell a story. Always tell a story. You're telling a story now, multiple stories. And you mentioned promotion, so very important. People, you create interesting, educational, entertaining content. However, if nobody knows that content is there, nobody will see it. I think you mentioned repurposing an original content 14 times. There's no exaggeration. The more often we post, the better the result, especially today when it is so very competitive online. That is one of the best ways to differentiate ourselves, post more often than everyone else. And you've mentioned it before, we need a plan behind all this, also called an editorial calendar, so we know what to do when. Deborah, if we want, let me post this, put this up. If we want help to be more visible, show up powerful as leaders offline and online, where do we go? What do we do?
That's a great question. First of all, you have to decide on your target market and your audience. Where do they hang out? I mean, and you have to understand what you're specializing in. Where is your focus and attention on your own business, your own product and service? What are you going to focus on to be able to promote to the outside world? And then knowing who's going to consume that, which is your ideal sort of target market or ideal perfect client that you have, communicating to them with a message that they really resonate with, that they understand. It's using a language that they would use. So it's also deciding where your target market and audience hangs out, knowing you don't have to be on every platform in terms of visibility, but you just need to know where is your ideal target market, where are they consuming the content and material, and then be there where they're hanging out. So creating that plan, the frequency and consistency is really part of the process. So what I would suggest for people to do is the starting point would be to attend a summit that I have next week. It's called Mastering Your Visibility and Influence, Getting Noticed and Known to Reach Your Prosperity Potential. So the reason why I created this summit, and the website is prosperitypotential.com, prosperitypotential.com, for the registration for the summit. It's free for the audience. The reason why I did this summit is that people are struggling right now. There's so much to learn to make a business run really well. There are a number of factors that I had shared in the earlier part of this conversation, Moreno, which includes the mindset piece, knowing that we can sabotage ourselves easily, what our issues are around money, how we handle the money and the finances in the business and how we leverage that, how we're dealing with a variety of factors that increase our visibility, which is, can we write content? Can we be published? Can we speak? What's our overall emotional state, our happiness that we can extend to our customers, and just the great happiness and peace that we feel within ourselves so that people want to be around us. All those emotional factors come into play as much as all the tech and the support behind that. So I brought in a variety of different speakers in this summit that are experts at what it is that they do. Their stories, their information is absolutely gold content. And the presenters are speaking for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, in that range. So it's one speaker per day for the summit. That's it. It's not like you have to sit on your computer all day long and listen. You can still run your business. You can still enjoy time with your family, and do the things that you want to be able to do. So we're not asking for a lot of time from you, but what it is this is your opportunity to learn a little bit more from experts that are from all over, that can give you more visibility, suggestions for visibility to help you to market yourself in a more creative way online. So their content is just outstanding. And I can't say enough about these really extraordinary people. They're incredible. Doing the summit was so much fun. In fact, this week, today and tomorrow, I'm finishing up with some of the speaker interviews. So we've carefully crafted this to put it together for you to be able to get some really extraordinary information with the audience and with the speakers. So prosperitypotential.com is the website to register for mastering your visibility and influence. And I hope you join us. It's going to be awesome.
David, there's only one way to summarize what you said. We need to attend your summit. It sounds exciting.
Thank you, Moreno.
We've reached the end of today's program. Most will agree that for the last 30 minutes, we've been hearing words of wisdom in abundance. Thank you so much, David, for sharing your experience and ideas about how we can reach our prosperity potential. I also appreciate you taking the time to make this rapid fire event on LinkedIn Live interesting and informative.
Thank you, Moreno. My pleasure.
To our attendees, a big thank you. Contact Deborah on the link provided. And for additional information, of course, you can direct message us. To your continued success and good health. Goodbye until we meet again next week, Thursday, 9 a.m.
Goodbye, everyone.